Lately I've been getting lots of questions, and I've been asked a few times to give a presentation on clerk certification. Some of us are auditory learners and some are visual, so this layout is an attempt to reach both. I'll try to be brief, which you know is not my strong suit, but we'll try to keep this at about 10 minutes. As always, I don't claim to be an authority on this topic. This is only an overview. Remember to use your resources. Contact your KMCA board officers, your regional reps, or the education committee members, or visit kyclerks.com or iimc.com if you have questions. Some viewing this presentation will be too young to remember the rock band The Who. They had a famous song with the refrain, "Who are you?" The question is relevant for us because newcomers can easily get overwhelmed with the acronyms, abbreviations, and casual language we toss about in our clerk circles. Each time I am asked to speak on this topic, I start by saying we need to take a look into the alphabet soup to make sure that everyone in the conversation knows their MMCAs from their MMCs and their KMCIs from IIMC. We'll try to do this PDQ today so that you don't all ZZZ. There are 4 different acronyms that refer to the different certifications we can obtain. The trick to this is knowing that first you get certified, and then, if you want to, you can become a master. There are 4 acronyms here because there are 2 different groups both bestowing these similar titles. Before we dive into the 4 different certifications, let's have a quick review of who's who as far as the groups are concerned. Starting on the left, consider yourself as the tiny brown owl. You're watching this presentation today because you work for a city. Each of these cities is in one of the regional chapters making up our state association, KMCA, which is one of 5 states in Region 5, which is an area within IIMC. We just went from the littlest brown owl up to the bright barn owl. Now let's break it down in reverse order from the biggest to the smallest. Your big owl in the lineup is IIMC. That's the International Association. Some of you have no interest in belonging to this group, and that's okay. Stick with us, though, while we sort out the rest of the who's who, just to clear up confusion for anyone else. The second largest owl in the group here represents Region 5, which is always expressed with that Roman numeral. Hopefully no one thinks it's the letter V and wonders what that stands for. Versailles, Valentines, Victors. No, this Region 5 is the group of states, coincidentally 5 states, making up one of the regions of IIMC. If you meet clerks from Tennessee, Ohio, Indiana, or Michigan, they may remember coming to Covington for a Region 5 conference back in 2006, or they might ask you if they met you before at a Region 5 meeting. Now we're working our way through this nest of owls. The gray owl here is our state association, KMCA. I'm also a member of the Northern Kentucky Municipal Clerks Association, which is a regional chapter in KMCA. The snowy white owl in the group represents our regional chapters. Clerks from other parts of the state may ask you what ad you are from. This refers to your area development district. There are 11 organized chapters in KMCA that correspond with the area development districts. Maybe someday we'll get those remaining 4 areas from Eastern Kentucky organized. Until they might become official chapters, clerks in those areas are always welcome to join KMCA. Our state association generally has 2 membership meetings a year. One is held during spring conference. You can go to the meeting even if you are not attending the conference. In the past, we had a fall meeting during the KLC conference, but in the last few years the timing was changed so that the fall membership meeting of KMCA is being held during the Academy program. This brings us to the different educational programs and more of those letters from the alphabet soup. Your regional chapter might offer local training from time to time at their meetings. Our state association presents top-notch programs each year. And maybe you have attended or will look into an IIMC conference. Let's take a look at the most popular and best opportunities for Kentucky clerks education and break down a few more of those acronyms. The Institute is not a research facility, a prison system, or a home for the mentally ill. The Institute refers to the Kentucky Municipal Clerks Institute. This also gets abbreviated to KMCI. This is the week-long program that clerks attend for 3 years to become certified. Usually it is new clerks who attend the Institute, but sometimes there are clerks who can only attend after they've been on the job for a few years. The second great opportunity is the Master Municipal Clerks Academy, often called MMCA or just the Academy. You don't have to be working toward master designation to attend, but it is best to attend 3 years of the Institute before you start going to the Academy, so the information will build. Let me reiterate, there is a lot to gain from the Academy even if you never pursue certification. You owe it to yourself to at least review the agenda each year and see if the topics appeal to you. One final note on these two big educational opportunities each year. It used to be that the Institute was held in July and the Academy later in the fall, but for the past few years, to save resources, the programs have run concurrently. Following the two big annual programs for clerks, another great opportunity for education and a fantastic venue for networking is the KMCA Spring Conference. Clerks of all experience levels attend. This can be a challenge to the planners as they need sessions that appeal not only to those from large and small cities, but also everyone from the newest to the most experienced clerks. For this reason, the topics often focus on professional development and broader themes. Spring Conference is also a great venue for getting updated on how changing legislation impacts our duties. KIPTA clerks have asked that we save the date for 2016. Classroom time from Spring Conference will count towards certification. So now let's move on to that topic. Keep a positive outlook. It is in your best interest to pursue certification, and it may not be as hard as you think. We already said there are two basic levels, certification and master designation. But remember, we said there are 4 acronyms because 2 different organizations both have these 2 levels. So here's the breakdown. Your state association, KMCA, will consider you certified, that is, a CKMC, if you attend the Institute for 3 years. The only other requirement is that you be a member in good standing for at least 2 years. Now the new option is, after you are a CKMC, after you're certified, you can work toward a Kentucky Master Designation. On the flip side, IIMC can also offer you certification. If you attend the Institute for 3 years, you're almost there. We'll get to what else they require in a minute. Following your CMC from IIMC, you might choose to work towards your MMC. Let's take a more detailed look at these, starting with what Kentucky offers. KMCA can dub you a CKMC, that is a Certified Kentucky Municipal Clerk, after you go to the Institute for 3 years. Now there's almost a joke there about being certified after too long in the Institute, but we all know it's really the stuff at the city that makes us crazy. Anyway, those who want to take the next step can work toward that Kentucky Master Municipal Clerk designation. Getting the Kentucky Master is not super easy. It was not intended to be simple, nor an automatic advancement, but if you are active, you'll be surprised how close you may already be. 100 education points are necessary, 60 of which must be from the Academy, and at least 20 from Spring Conference. If you go to the Master Municipal Clerks Academy for 3 years, you're more than halfway there. If you also went to Spring Conference each of those 3 years, you might just have the education points you need. Other trainings qualify, so take a look at the application. The social points might be a bit harder to gather quickly, but if you went to spring conferences that you haven't used the points in education, use those points here. If you've served as a regional chapter officer, that counts. Maybe this will serve as an extra nudge to encourage service on a KMCA committee. There have been 11 KMMCs approved so far, and there could be more coming soon. Stay tuned. Now to look at the IIMC side and their first rung certification. If you went to the Institute for 3 years, you're almost there. Those who have a degree may get there even before completing the 3-year Institute program. But you also need experience points. Your years of service, as well as conference attendance, committee work, and other education all help tally up to the 50 points you need. There is a $100 application fee to become a CMC through IIMC, and an extra $40 if you would like a plaque. If you obtained your CMC from IIMC, you might decide to work toward your Master Municipal Clerk designation. It takes 100 new points, 60 in education, and 40 contribution points. Perhaps this is another incentive for active involvement, or would be an affirmation for the good work you've already done. Keep in mind, if you are interested in obtaining master designation from both KMCA and IIMC, you can work toward both goals simultaneously. In other words, many of the advanced education points you earn at the Academy and the activities subsequent to your certification can be used on both applications. So, why fool with all of this? Well, it might be required by your current or a future employer. It might help you get a new job or a raise. It might help you get the respect you deserve. It might help your confidence. You might gain a great sense of achievement by reaching these milestones. But again, I say, even if you never follow through with the applications, treat yourself to the education available and share your knowledge with your peers. That's what makes KMCA strong. Sometimes newer clerks ask where to begin, or they might be intimidated by the application process for the various certification levels. My mentors told me to keep a folder with all of my training certificates together. If you don't have a clue how close you might be, take a half an hour and start filling out the application. Don't be a chicken. It's not as tough as it might seem, and, like you would tell your children, how do you know if you haven't tried? So, I'm no wise old owl. I'm more like, well, Big Bird. But I'll be happy to try to help with your questions. The official sources and websites to learn about the programs and get the applications are kyclerks.com and iimc.com. Remember, you can always turn to your board officers, regional reps, and education committee members for assistance. I hope this overview has been helpful and that you're ready to move on and work towards your next level of certification.